And joining us now is a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Ayodele Thomas Fadeyi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also in the studio is Dr. Shenokun Olufumi Ajose Harrison. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and director of the Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center. Thank you for joining us.
And not forgetting, we'll be having Kabir Shitu also joining us. Okay, Kabir Shitu also is there joining us from Abuja on Skype. It's nice to have you join us right now, Kabir Shitu. Thank you.
All right, perhaps we'll start with Kabir Shitu. Let's get what he makes of the president's speech. What was most striking for you?
For the speech, you see that he is telling Nigeria, he touched every aspect of Nigerian life. And he talks about anti-corruption and how all of us must join hands to fight this menace. He also talked much of how we now, as an agriculturist or as agrarian society, that we should now depend on, that's really led me, because that is my focus. One, that we must close our border for now. Two, that we must take comparative advantage of our natural resources, which is agriculture, and then make sure that we use this to better the life of Nigerians, get employment opportunity. And we cannot do this without making sure that they put up the processing of this product and banning exportation of raw materials. But when you export raw material, you are exporting employment opportunity. So you cut off the value chain. If you process this product here in Nigeria, you are now expanding the employment opportunity. You are giving economic power to Nigerians by processing. You look that it comes from farm, storage, from storage.
Kabiru, if I have to cut in there, we are still exporting crude oil. And then if you look at the state of our refineries, what can we do in that aspect? Several monies have been spent when they talk about, you know, turning the state of the refineries around, but yet we still find ourselves in the situation.
I believe that until we stop exportation of our raw material, including the crude oil, because if you don't refine the crude oil here, 90% of the opportunity, both employment and economic empowerment of Nigeria, are given to other countries. Therefore, I think what the government should do now is to bring in investors, Nigerians that are ready to bring in refining machines that are just small refining machines that can be scattered all over Nigeria, not necessarily until we build a gigantic refinery. All these refineries we have now are now obsolete, and there are new modern equipment that can refine as fast as possible. And you can put them even as under one small container, but can refine just little by, and you can put all this in each state. That is how we can come up with this issue of not exporting our crude for this thing. And even this taking even electricity. It is time that we give opportunity to Nigerians. How? When you are giving licenses for these oil blocks, you must, especially like Shell, Chevrons, and Co., you must also give them target that for you to be able to be given this license, you must generate so electricity. Flaring this gas, which is causing havoc in the Niger Delta, even to Nigerian society, is not conducive. And therefore, it's time we change how we give out our oil blocks.
All right. We have to interrupt you a little here now so we can hear from others as well. Thank you, Kabir Shitu. We'll come back to you shortly. Well, in Nigeria or in Africa, when the rain falls, we always say it's blessing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
On a day like this, the rain is falling, it's raining heavily where we are right now. It's really interesting. All right, Dr. Ajose Harrison, let me come to you on this. On the day of independence, 1st of October 1960, I want to believe that you were somewhere you know, listening to either the radio or maybe watching TV or maybe listening to what some persons are saying about how the independence was going and all of that. Can you reflect to us? What was the feeling that day for you?
Thank you very much. That time, I was really
Young.
But again, to quickly answer that question, anytime we celebrate independence, you see everybody jubilating. There was nationhood. Nationhood. And everything was all about Nigeria. You go about with your green flag. I remember my dad, he will hoist the Nigerian flag, green, white, green, and they will teach us many things. We'll sing, we'll go out, celebrate. When we were in primary school, you will see all of us lining up to see whoever was coming as the governor of the state, and we'll go to the stadium, and a lot of celebration. And at that time, too, milk was served and cocoa drink.
Wow.
Fantastic. The country was really blessed, very, very rich. And it was just a situation of, oh, we've gotten our independence, everybody's happy, the resources were there, and we had leaders who were purposeful, because it was something that has just started, and everybody wanted it. We wanted to nurture it and to ensure that everything survived. So there was real nationhood. I will say that, and people were happy. And for every independence after 1960, people kept on looking forward to new things happening, tapping resources, utilizing the skills of people. We had human resource. I was just up there.
All right.
Milk and cocoa drink.
Two things he mentioned. He talked about leadership and a sense of nationhood. Because when you talk about the celebration of independence today, some people say there's nothing to celebrate, rather it is commemorating what changed. Was the leadership not able to drive that sense of nationhood at the time?
Thank you very much. You see, when you mention leadership, when you mention all this, where is the commitment? Are they committed?
On whose part?
It is a thing in which on all of us, it's not the people at the ends of affairs alone. It is collective thing, collective failure. It is the truth. Where is their blueprint? Is the society organized? They will go out and make all this broadcast, all this something. Let me remind you of one thing. We have 774 local government in this country. We have 36 states in this country. And we have a government at the center. Where are the policies of all these people? They all relied on the central government. It's never done. Even the local government there supposed to have its own economic policy.
Well, at their level, don't they have their own policies, internally generated revenue and things at their own level? Whether they are functioning well is another thing altogether.
My dear brother, let us be sincere with ourselves. It's what they tell you, you will hear. But when you go to the field there, you see, most of them are not even competent.
Okay, all right.
I will tell you one thing. You see, most of this rural local government, I'm citing an example.
Quickly, please.
When you go out within this rural local government, they have the resources of building and housing estate within their jurisdiction. Where is it?
All right.
The agricultural sector, they have the land there.
Where is it?
Nothing is happening.
All right. Kabiru, let me come to you on this before we come to Dr. Ajose Harrison. Now, when it comes to the issue of independence, there is always the talk about the issue of government, reflection on what government is doing and what government is not doing. But let us focus attention on the people themselves, how patriotic the people have been and how committed the people have been in the development of the country. How much of that is going on really, or going down really, from your perspective and an assessment?
We believe that one thing from Nigeria is that hard working, but that patriotic, we have not really experienced patriotic most of our activity. And why this is happening? Because the government itself has not shown citizens that they are responsible for their welfare, and they will be there when bad. So there are two both sides here has to now give and work hard. Government coming to show them. Yeah.
All right, I'm afraid we have to put a pause there. I think we have issues with the connection there. We couldn't really hear Kabir Shitu. Let's come to Dr. Jose Harrison. Yeah, maybe you take it up from there.
No, go ahead, Mike.
All right. Now, when it comes to the issue of economic reforms, the president talked about different things, but if we have to go back to even the days of development plans and all of that, we've seen different reforms from agriculture to different facets of the economy. How much of all of those can we say that Nigeria has benefited from?
Yeah, thank you very much. But in the area of agricultural reforms, I would say yes, to some extent, 45% way up. It's still low. Many transformations have occurred in the area of agric, such that we rely a lot on mechanized farming now, and we are seeing the results. But the problem we are having is, sorry to talk about this, the Nigerian factor. It's like many people are greedy, and I'll go back to nationhood. It's something that ought to be about the country, our people. It's not that we don't have the knowledge. It's not that there is no technology transfer. All of these are there, but
where did we lose that actually? Because when you started earlier and you told us, you painted a picture of milk and cocoa drink.
Beautiful.
You know, you talked about nationhood. Where did we lose that?
We lost it immediately between the 79 and the 80s. Everything just changed. Why did it change? It changed because, one, discipline was not stoutly addressed. People started misbehaving. And when you misbehave and we don't have a solid system of reward and sanction, you don't punish those who have actually misbehaved.
What area of misbehavior would you, if you have to break it down?
It became a malaise in the society. People started dipping their hands in the coffers of government.
Corruption.
Yeah. And they started taking away money. You can call it looting, and nobody decided to say anything about it. They said, okay, you just look away from it. And that's not good for a country. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to share this too, the military did not also help matters. And before we could say Jack Robinson, it now became a Nigerian thing. People accepted it because we didn't address many issues bordering on poverty, which started creeping in seriously. And social malaise, it is what is in it for you that people are looking at, not what is in it for the entire society. So we were so short-sighted, and we didn't apply that system of reward and sanction positively.
We keep hearing people blame the military for a lot of things when it comes to development, be it economic, in every aspect. But then if we had understood the aspect of nationhood, wouldn't we have separated ourselves from perhaps the things that the military did when we became when we went back into democracy, so to speak, and pick up ourselves to drive this sense of nationhood and achieve what our heroes past imagined or envisioned for the country?
Thank you, my sister. You see, when you look at it vividly, because I believe in saying the truth, nothing but the truth. You see, a big civilian regime is better than full-fledged military administration. Doctor mentioned something that in the 70s, when Nigeria took independence, I even marched near Odon. That was race course, 1960. I was a student at St. Peter's, Faji. You know, you talk about cocoa, you talk about this. Yes! We were given good quality food then.
Milk and cocoa drink.
Yes.
I like the imagination.
From a central kitchen. You see something? Lagos is supposed to be a country on its own.
Yes.
I am not joking about it. I was born and bred there. I know the in and out of Lagos. And I can tell you that the mistake in where the colonial masters did to Lagos is very harmful. That is on that. You see, the military, yes, some of them, some administrations make mistakes. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But Muritala Muhammad came to come and restructure the country. Within that little time, people do enjoy. They felt that mistakes in which that was committed during someone's administration, Muritala came to come and rectify. But they did not allow him to even implement the full something. It was just taken out. Yes. And another person came in. You know what causes the problem? The problem of this country was caused during, immediately after the death of Muritala Muhammad. That was First Act 77.
So are you saying First Act 77 was a mistake?
Oh.
But it was meant to unite the entire continent.
Unite the entire continent. It was a waste of money. They call other countries to come and share, to come and look at the kind of wealth in which Nigeria has. In Yoruba language, they said, "Ti ishu eni batama for bojeni." But it was a mistake.
But that was in Nigeria's capacity as the leader of the entire continent.
You are talking leader. No. The leadership of Africa. Nigeria might not even, when they look at it properly, I'm telling you, Nigeria might not, did Nigeria have the kind of money Libya has then? No. No. But mismanagement of funds. Mismanagement of funds.
All right. Okay, let me take it now to Kabir Shitu, who is still on Skype, and I hope that we will be able to get you now. Now, a lot of people have blamed the system of government that we have run. We have tested the parliamentary system, we had the military, and then now we're running the presidential system of government. And we hear a lot of people saying we should go back to the parliamentary system of government, which seemed to be a little cheaper and then a little more inclusive. What do you make of the system or the style of government that we run in the country?
For us, we believe that there's nothing wrong with the system that is there now. It is we, the people, that have to resolve that will make the system and institutionalize our leadership. Until you institutionalize this position, the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. If they are institutionalized and people you don't build strong people or strong institution. And then we now just have to put some amendment where those political system will reflect our own culture and belief. I.e., instead of having independent electoral commission conducting election, we should have the federal so that a local government will be independent itself. And therefore, we must now concentrate, even political parties, we must have parties today that can now say they are just for under a local government. If you have 200 to 300 membership, you are local government political parties. If you have 500 to 1 million, you can be called a state political party. If you are able to mop up 30 to 40 million membership, then you can call a national political party. Because even in where we borrow the presidential system from the United States of America, there are political parties that are counting. Because political parties are supposed to be ideological driven. You know, they are the drivers of ideology. And local government might have what you want, different from other local government. Each state must have an ideological drive that is different from other states. And that is why there are some law in some states where i.e. can have gay law, US, while some states bar gay. Also in Nigeria, we must now concentrate our political.
Kabarishitu there speaking on the issues of institutionalizing and also having party ideology and each state having its ideologies. But then how would it drive Nigeria moving forward? Will that take us to our destination? Perhaps the idea, that reason why we came together in the first place in 1960, looking forward now, would institutionalizing every reform, as it is said by Dr. Kabarishitu, would that take us to what we had envisioned in 1960 moving forward?
Thank you very much. Now, I agree with him partially, but reality is this. We are not operating through federalism in this country. We are actually supposed to have very, very strong local governments, then followed by stronger states, then we have a weak center. But the order in Nigeria is different. And that's why we are having so many challenges, because the grassroots is key in everything. That's why you have the real people from the rural settings and people who can, tell you that they have the indigenous knowledge system. They have the rote knowledge. They know what can happen and move development, even at the local level. So that's very, very key and important for me. And I want us to look at it objectively and scientifically. You see, in scientific sincerity, we'll get a lot of things done, especially looking at our development right from the local government level. If you don't look at it from that level, then I think we have missed many things. Because how can policies come from federal to affect the people at the grassroots when federal does not even know what goes on at the local level? It's serious. And that's why today...
Isn't that why we have representatives?
Well, it's unfortunate. We have representatives, but they're representing their personalities. They're not representing the people. It's all about what is in it for me. It's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. That's why we are saying that there's a serious disconnect between what we really have to do and what our representatives are doing. There are so many bad roads now, linking one state to another. Like we saw, that of, I can't remember, in Cross River State, there's a road that should have been repaired, Alifoja or something like that. And for 30 years now, nothing has happened.
But
and there's a representative.
Isn't that the story of so many roads in Nigeria? It's
terrible. And there's a representative there.
Exactly.
Wow.
Not representing the people.
So much to talk about.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Senukon Ajose Harrison, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Honorable Ayodele Thomas Fadeyi, thank you very much for coming as well.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And we thank Kabir Shitu for joining us on Skype from Abuja and your insight into